Hey guys, it's your boy Mixoid here. This is like my fourth time trying to record this. I keep screwing it up at some point or another. I haven't uploaded in a while. I know that. That's like college and sixth form, and it's really hard to upload because I have to be at college or sixth form and have free time to do that because the internet really sucks where I live. So I've got to use the sixth form internet for that. Uh, but we'll be doing ranking all of the Western NEP games. There are a couple Japanese games. Most of them, or if not all of them, are card games, and we will be excluding other games where the Neptunia characters appear. So I know Azure Lane also has the Neptunia characters in. Unfortunately, I missed the event. I mean, I got the game at Azure Lane at launch, and then I kind of didn't play it during the Neptunia event, but then I played the event right after, which I can't even remember what characters were in the event right after. Anyway, we're going to go from the oldest games to the newest games. I'm going to go and say right now that I admit I have not played the older games, and I have not played Neptunia RPG yet. That's the newest game, and the shooter, which is also a new game, but that's pretty cheap, so I'm probably going to get that before I get this. And I also have a whole bunch of other Neptunia games to replay, because I had quite a lot of the PS Vita games, but I want to go back and replay them on PC. So I think I'm 79% completion on Neptunia U, which is one of the first Vita games. But we need to go with the PS3 games first, which is which one's the first one? Where are you? Where are you? I know I've got it somewhere. I swear I put it in. Oh no, there it is. Oh my god, I'm blind. Yeah. Okay, here it is. So I'm not a big fan of the original games at all, and you'll see this when I rank the Rebirth games. I'm not a big fan of the Rebirth games either, to be honest. I don't know why, but this one's really the original Neptunia game's really funky. So it had a pretty decent combat mechanic, and it was very unique compared to all the other games. But the way you travelled through the world meant you had to go through all the dungeons, and enemies were invisible, so it was like walking through loads of grass in Pokemon, lots of long grass. So it made things really frustrating, and they changed it in the rebirths, but I mean, yeah, and the graphics weren't good either. This was really, really budget, this game, as far as I'm aware, so I'm going to put it in the E tier. I mean, it wasn't completely rubbish. Uh, I mean, this was the game that started it all, and I mean, yeah. Story was alright. But I think the Rebirth games has a whole bunch more content in it, including the story. So let's go on to Mark Two. Here it is. Another PS3 game. Sorry. This introduced the sisters, the little sisters in the games. So you got Nepgear, Ram, and Uni. Vert doesn't have a little sister. It's quite a constant thing, but this had a much better story, in my opinion. I also believe this is the one with the domination end, which was pretty controversial. I actually quite enjoyed that ending. So I'm going to put it in a C tier, even though combat's not very good, graphics not very good, like the usual. Story, it was alright, Domination end. What's next? Victory. Where is the original Victory? Here. Victory. Okay, so this, I believe, has Plutia and Pishi, who are at least for the West's, the most favourite characters, I believe. I didn't like Pishi, but Plutia, yeah. I like Iris Heart. Pretty enjoyable character. Um, so Mark Two really a C. No, I'm gonna put it there, and Victory I'm gonna also put in a D. The story was much better in this, but again, graphics, gameplay, not the greatest. Now, what's next? I'm not sure if U or Rebirth 1 was first, so I'm gonna go with. I'll go with U because I'm gonna absolutely thrash Rebirth 1. Neptunia U. I'm like replay. I have the Vita games all on my Vita, but I'm also replaying them on my PC. So I've completed it on the Vita, and I think about seven. I'm marked as 79% complete on the PC version. I actually quite enjoyed it. It's made by the same people who did what's the game's called? Senran Kagura? Yeah, Senran Kagura. I mean, it's a very stripped down version of Senran Kagura. Uh, I want to be a bit harsh on it, and because it's such a stripped down version of Senran Kagura, and it gets really tedious, really fast. And let's not forget the red quests, when they're like mystery quests, you've got to figure out what you're doing. The early quests of those, until you like get the gist of it, those quests literally make you want to kill yourself. So I'm gonna put Neptunia there. The story was okay. I mean, it's a spin-off game, so there wasn't exactly much story in the first place. Nothing that really meant much, but it was a good a game that you could play like for 30 minutes to an hour. No more though, because you get really bored really fast in this game. But yeah, I'm gonna put that in a C. Next up is Rebirth 1. And oh my god. No, Rebirth 1, Producing Perfection, came first out of all the PS Vita games. I completely forgot. Oh, Producing Perfection. Oh, my first Vita Neptunia game, yeah. I mean, oh, everyone says it's rubbish, but I have a bias since it was my first, like, Idol Master-esque game. I really enjoyed it. It had a charm that all of the Neptunia games didn't have. Uh, Definitely an alternate universe, because you play as like a male character who really has nothing to do, like nothing good about him. So yeah, I'm gonna put Producing Perfection as an A. I'm really biased here. I'm also gonna put that closer to the D. That's more of a D. This is more of like an E. Uh, Now Rebirth 1. Finally Rebirth 1. Oh my god. I absolutely hated this game. It was the most boring Neptunia game I think I've ever played. Uh, I'm really tempted to put it in an F. I really did not enjoy the game, and it's inconsequential, the story of this game, because Rebirth 2 and Rebirth 3 have completely different stories, and at least those two are intertwined. This one is not. This is, yeah, F. F. I did not like it. I didn't like the gameplay. This was the first mainline game. Because the first mainline game I played was Victory 2, and going back down to Rebirth 1 was really like, it was like being stabbed in the heart, because it felt so bare bones compared to Victory 2, and it's like I just felt so out of touch with this game. So there you have it. I am going to be really controversial. Loads of people, I know people who've got like 200, 300, I think someone's got 600 hours on Steam. Really enjoyed it. He's like, I was talking with one of my mates, and he was like, huh? Rebirth 1 is like one of my favourite games. How can you disrespect Rebirth 1 so much? I am disrespecting Rebirth 1 that much. You have not played Victory 2. Do not play Victory 2 if you want to play Rebirth 1 first. You've got to play it first before Victory 2. Is all I'm going to say. I was going to ruin it like it was ruined for me. Next, I think Rebirth 2 was next. Rebirth 2, clarification, the Rebirth games are pretty much better versions, or supposed to be better versions, of the Neptunia Victory Mark II and the original Neptunia. So Rebirth 1 is Neptunia, Mark II is Rebirth 2, and Victory is Rebirth 3. So, Rebirth 2, again, I really like the endings in Rebirth 2, so I'm going to put it as... I'm going to put it as a... I'm going to put it as a C. I'm going to put it... Come on. Here. Just because I like the ending. I like the introductions of the sisters. It was a really good way for it to go, and yeah, really liked it. Next is Rebirth 3. So you could actually play as Pishi and Plutia in Rebirth 1. I actually got the DLC for that. as much as I hated it, I needed to play as them. And I mean, Rebirth 3, I really, really liked it. I don't think many people, some people like really didn't like it, but I really, really liked it. So I'm gonna put it as a B. I really enjoyed it. Also, one of the things that the Rebirth games did really well is they changed the goddamn travel system, which was so bad in the original Neptunia games. But yeah, something that they do later on again, but for the better in my opinion. But hey ho. And then they changed it back. Well, I'll get to into it when I get into it. So next up is, I believe, Hyper Devotion Noir. Oh, this! I love Noir. You cannot stop me loving Noir. But the gameplay, you can get like some levels that you don't have to level grind. And this is one of the problems I had with Rebirth 1, is you really had to grind in Rebirth 1 compared to the other games in my opinion. So, I'm really tempted to put it in an S. And Hyper Devotion Noir had lots of like proper art, which Neptunia UwU doesn't have. Uh, so I'm gonna put it here. I really liked Hyper Devotion Noir. I really like the Noir character. I think Noir's changed for the better since the original, like since this game. Like the voice actor changed, and I actually got quite into the new voice actor. Uh, so I like Hyper Devotion Noir. Again, you play as a male character. You start to see a trend with you play as a male character in these games. I think you play as a male character in Hyper Devotion Noir, if I remember right. I enjoyed that. That was a good PS Vita game. I just bought it on my PC, so hopefully once I've completed U, I think I'm going to play Hyper Devotion Noir next. I think that's the next one in the series. Next is, I guess Victory 2 is before Blanc vs Zombies, if I remember right. So I'm going to take Victory 2. And Victory 2, straight away, S tier. No debates. Victory 2 has the best combat system out of all the games. And I'm going to be quite controversial when I get to Victory 2 Rebirth, because that did some good stuff as well. So, yeah, Victory 2 used SP skills really differently, and you like earned it through battles, and I really, really like that. It was like how you earned SP in Neptunia UwU, and it was the right way to go about it, because you felt way more powerful in Victory 2, which is the goal of the CPs. You're supposed to be some overwhelming force, but you can still easily get wrecked. And also the next gen, especially when you're playing on console and you're playing on the next gen console, it just feels so right, because of course the Neptunia games are based on Microsoft's consoles. I wanted to say Sega, but I'm not exactly sure if it was Sega. Yeah, it was Sega Mega Drive. I think Neptunia's based off. And then you've got Noir as the PlayStation, and then you've got Blanc, who I'm not a big fan of, but for some reason everyone's a big fan of Blanc. She's the Wii, and you got Roman Rams, the DS screens, and then you got Uni, who's the PS Vita. I'm not sure what Netgear is supposed to be honest, but I should actually look into what Netgear is supposed to be. I think Netgear is supposed to be like some handheld console that was never released, if I remember right. But yeah. What is next? Oh, I think Blanc vs Zombies is next. Now, this is basically Neptunia UwU. It's got a better story. The problem is it doesn't have the same mechanics. So I mean, it feels like a more fleshed out Neptunia UwU. So I think I'm actually going to put it here, because it's it's basically just way more fleshed out than Neptunia UwU, and the story is way better. I'm not going to talk too much about Blanc vs Zombies, because my memory is quite vague actually about Blanc vs Zombies, but I remember it being better than you. What is next? I guess I should do. Oh, yeah, I'll do Sega Hard Girls next. Now, Sega Hard Girls is another really, really good game. It was a bit weird in my opinion though, so I'm not gonna put it in A. I'm tempted to put it in A, but there's just something that the motorbike like haunts me. The motorbike. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, basically, I think it was Neptune who becomes a motorbike in the game. It's just really weird. It just haunts me. I don't know why, but Blanc vs Zombies is really good. So if it'll let me put it here. Come on, please. Please let me put you here. There we go. Put you there. Blanc vs Zombies. No. Hyper... or whatever it's called. Something Sega Girls. Neptunia versus Sega Girls. Really good. I can't, no, I'm worried that I've been calling it Blanc vs Zombies by accident. But yeah, really good characters in this. What is it? What's next? Four Goddesses Online, which came first. I think Four Goddesses Online came first, if I remember right. The AI in Four Goddesses Online makes you want to kill yourself. The graphics are way better than the previous mainline game, which was Victory 2 on the console. So I'm actually going to rank it up here. Ooh. Because, I mean, it was basically what Four Goddesses Online is not a JRPG like the mainline games. It's more like Blanc vs Zombies or Neptunia U, but there's less quantity of enemies, if that makes sense. So, I'm... Oh, this is a tough one. I prefer Four Goddesses Online over Sega Hard Girls. It's just that the online was trash and the AI sucked big doo-doo, unfortunately. What's next? Victory 2. Victory 2, okay, I'm gonna be controversial. Everyone, or most people, hates the combat system in Victory 2. And I would have to agree with them there. I would have to agree with them. Considering how long they had to develop Victory 2, and the fact that there's no extra content compared to Victory 2, compared to Victory VIIR, whatever, yeah, I'm going to put it here because it improved the graphics quite drastically. It fixed some pretty big issues, performance issues with the game. There's a bit too much third wall breaking. Like, Neptunia usually does fourth wall breaking, or third wall breaking. But in Victory 2 Rebirth, VIR is basically VR or Rebirth. I mean, whatever you want to interpret it as. But yeah, I really like Victory 2. It's just that Victory 2R. It's just that they needed to basically keep the combat system, or not change the combat system in the way that they did, because it completely ruins the SP combo system or whatever, special attacks, and there's a bit too much fall breaking in my opinion. Also, if you've already played Victory 2, unless you're a hardcore Neptunia fan like myself, you kind of feel like you're getting mugged off, because I mean there's not enough of a there's not enough content compared to the original to warrant the full sale price, which is like full on 40 or 50 quid. What it was. Oh, it's obviously not now. I mean, I got it for like 12 quid, if I remember right. Now, Neptunia Shooter. So I'm going off what I've heard here, and what I've heard is Neptunia Shooter is actually pretty decent. It's only like 3 or 4 quid, and it's apparently like it's pretty bare bones. It's only a couple hours worth of content, but apparently it feels really good, and it's like a pretty decent bullet hell shooter, and the chip tune is pretty decent as well. So I'm gonna put it in a B, because from what I've heard, it's pretty good, but I'm sure they could have added more content from what I've seen from it. Now, Super Neptunia RPG. Now, I haven't played it myself, but I think it's going to have to go at the very tippity top of A. Why at the tippity top of A? Well, it's got by far the most content. It feels like a mainline game. The problem is I don't like the 2D setting. If they made it fully 3D, then I think it would have gone into the S tier. Proper graphics, 3D. The combat system looks really good in Neptunia RPG. I think the music's pretty decent, and there's so much story and everything. It just looks amazing. So this is my ranking, I think. Will I want to change anything around? I don't think so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go like this. Anyway, this has been Mikuzoid. I'll be signing off. Next time you see me, I'll have an upgraded PC, because I have saved so much freaking money for my Ryzen 3900X. proper recording, no more GPU recording, which will be exciting. So videos will look better and probably be easier to upload, because they'll hopefully be compressed more if my understanding of H.265 on the CPU being better than GPUs more correct. Yeah. One thing to mention is that Four Goddesses Online is the only Neptunia game where I've got the special edition. Just something to point out. Until my cat bit into the box, and now my soul was like bitten into, and like that box was bitten into, because I spent so much. That's like one of the first ever limited edition games I got, and my bloody cat bit into it. But the stuff that came with the limited edition was really good. You got a USB drive, a little medley circle stand thing. I was really happy with it, and the box is really nice as well. Anyway, this is Mikuzoid signing off. See you guys in the next video.